Hello, beautiful souls. Debbie here, and I'm so excited you're joining me for today's show. As CEO of Up Vibrations, my goal with this podcast is to motivate you by sharing insights and also taking you along as I speak to knowledgeable people that I have found inspiring for me throughout my years as an energy medicine practitioner and channeler. I cover topics that I'm passionate about, all things under my 3 pillars of live, love, and lead. Live encompasses our planet, the food, exercise, meditation, your soul. Love, well, that begins with self-love, and that includes energy medicine, self-reliability, personal responsibility, spirituality, self-empowerment. Lead, this is how you're showing up in the world and how you are making a difference for the better. So tune in and listen up for this exciting episode to begin. But before we do, I have to read this disclaimer. This podcast and the topics discussed stem from my own curiosity and desire to learn and should never be taken as direct medical advice. I am not a doctor, dietitian, or any other medical professional. Please always consult your trusted provider regarding your health and your wellness. So let's begin. Welcome back, everyone, to the Live, Love, Lead podcast. I'm your host, Debbie Sodergren, and I'll be talking to you today, part 2 of an interview that we did with Janet Verney. Janet and I recently did a cleanse, a 30-day cleanse, and we went whole food, plant-based, which she does naturally, and it was a challenge for me, but it was a fun challenge. And we want to talk about not only the cleanse, the products that we used, but preparation for the cleanse, gluten or not gluten. We want to talk about aluminum foil and parchment paper, and we want to talk about food prepping to keep yourself on this 30-day cleanse, because I know it sounds overwhelming for some people, but we want to tell you our tips and tricks to make it super simple. So here again is my guest, Janet Verney. Janet, welcome back to the show. And
Thank you.
I think we should dive right in, because it's a short, we have short episodes to keep our guests on task so they can get on with their lives, but we want them to feel empowered and they could do this too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me start by saying, why do a cleanse? And is it ever convenient to do a cleanse? I mean, I hear from so many people, friends, family, clients, that they are just not feeling it. Like their energy is lagging. They've got fatigue. They've got foggy brain. Their allergies are bad. They're having gut health symptoms. Just like endless little things, aches and pains, achy joints, all of those things. And those are the people that I say, once you've seen your doctor and your doctor's ruled out anything yucky, and you just need that reset, like you just need to get yourself back on track. That's a good time to do a cleanse. What I will say is I don't like radical cleanses. I personally don't feel that it's good for people to go on these 10-day juice cleanses or, where that's all they're having, or a water fast for, days on end. There's some research that's showing that you can actually do damage to the lining of your intestinal tract when you starve the bad bacteria so much so that it starts eating the lining of your intestine. So
wow, that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy. So, a whole food cleanse is really the best route to go. And as far as when to do it, I hear people, I've got a wedding coming up and there's all these barbecues this summer. And I'm like, or the holidays are coming or whatever, all these different things that they've set what I call obstacles in their way from doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I think about doing it, I listen more now to my body, and it seems to be the month of May seems to be when my body craves to do a cleanse. And for me, what that feels like is I feel sluggish. I feel bloated. I feel I have a lot of brain fog. And I know if I look back, if I think about, well, what have I done the past 30 to 60 days? For me, it's, some friends have been leaving. So we've been out celebrating. We've been going to restaurants. We've been drinking alcohol. Like I've totally gotten off from eating at home, eating what I know is nutrition for my body. And I've just kind of winged it. And I understand that my body can process some of those toxins. It's an amazing system. But what happens is when you have that for 30 to 60 days and you eat like that,
Right.
your
Right.
body can't process all of that because it's too much. It's over toxified. It's it can't compensate to push all that toxicity out of your system anymore. And those are the symptoms that you get. So for me, doing a cleanse is my answer. And this year when I, thought about doing a cleanse, I wanted to go back to the old cleanse I did last year, and I muscle tested and my body was like, no. And so I thought, okay. I sat with that and I said, okay, spirit, what are we doing? Like, show me how I'm supposed to do this cleanse. Which cleanse am I supposed to do? Because I'm clueless on it. And then I started seeing some posts from Janet about a cleanse, and I was like, thank you. Because I know how all this works. There's no such thing as a coincidence. We are all connected, and food is what you're going to feed your temple with. And I look at the body as a temple. And for 57 years, I'm not on any medications. And going forward for the next 57 years, I don't want to be on any medications. So
good for you. Well, I also think we're coming off of what I've been referring to as a pandemic hangover. I mean, so many people have been isolated. They've been turning to comfort foods. They've been drinking more alcohol than ever. And then when they wake up in the morning, they've got that toxic poisoned feel from maybe a few too many glasses the night before. So now they're imbibing in too much caffeine to try to rev the body up. And then, we have this hectic, busy lifestyle too, where we're trying to manage the kids or manage the household or manage work and, balancing all of these things. So we're shoving food down our throat without thinking. We're not being mindful about it. So, stop and do a reset. And for instance, okay, bring it on. Bring on that reset during the summer when I've got to go to all these barbecues and possibly be inundated with, tons of, heavily laden foods that are not good for me, or going into the holidays. How can I make my holiday foods more healthy for not only me, but my family? So I say, go for the reset anytime during the year, because it's a doable reset in that, you have some wonderful products. There's a wonderful powder. It's a super green foodie powder that you can either add it to cold water and shake it in the shaker that it comes with and take it on the go if you need to. So it's convenient. You can add it to a smoothie, which is my favorite thing, or make even a smoothie bowl with little toppings on top, like fresh blueberries and strawberries and a few maybe sunflower seeds. And you're getting 6 salads in one serving, which is amazing. Wow. So you're basically getting 2 of those a day when you're on the reset.
And tell us a little bit about how they process to make this powder.
So they have a machine, which I haven't seen yet, but I've only heard about it, which I'm so excited. It's basically a machine that takes it through a very, very slow heat process, so that most of the nutrients are maintained, so that when you are rehydrating this powder, it's like a superfood. It comes to life. It's like a raw living food. So it's really, nutrient dense. It's really kicking in. And I can't tell you how amazing it makes me feel. I mean, night and day. I'm already doing that detox lifestyle thing we talked about in the last episode, but this just upped it even a notch more. And it also kicks your sugar cravings to the curb. I haven't wanted my plant-based cookies, which is I'm a cookie monster for those that know me. So, that's saying a lot. I have the desire or the need for a cookie. And alcohol completely cut out. I haven't had a desire for that either. So that's been really good too.
I've enjoyed the cleanse also. I'm not through my cleanse. I'm still on the last, I broke it into thirds. So the first 10 days, the second 10 days. So I'm in the third 10 days. So I'm getting ready to stop it. And I am going to do some maintenance because I love the other things. So when I ordered my kit, it's like $360, which is for the month, is all your supplies, and it breaks down to like $5 a meal.
Yeah. Now you got the one with the immune
I
boost.
did get the immune boost because I
Yeah.
felt I just had COVID and I came off COVID,
Yeah.
recovering from that. So for me, I wanted to get my immunity back up because I think my immunity was so low from all the
Absolutely.
toxicity that I had from just, drinking too much, eating whatever I wanted to eat and not being mindful about what I was putting into my body. So this reset helped get me back into being mindful of what I'm putting in my body. And they give you a list. So I love that there's the shakes. And I love there are some amino acids. Tell us about how the amino acids support us.
Oh my goodness. So these are what is referred to as pre-digested, which I think is pretty cool. It almost sounds gross, like who chewed it and spit it out. But that's not the case. It's just the way that it's processed. And it makes it that much more digestible. So they're really easy to digest. And they've got a 99% absorption rate, which is incredible. So I always take mine on an empty tummy. Night and day difference. Like if you suffer from like some achy joints or arthritis, things like that, it really does help that. And like I had posted, I went for this bicycle ride. I nearly died going up these hills on Block Island. I mean,
I know them well.
Yeah. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so sore. I haven't been on a bike in 10 years. I'm 60 years old. I'm like, I haven't been on a bike in 10 years. The next day, I'm like, I got up. I felt great. My muscles were strong. It really is, as we're aging too, it's so important that we get this extra boost too. And it also helps with your skin tone. Your hair is stronger. Your nails grow crazy.
Yeah. My nails have been super strong.
Yeah.
It's
So
been
I'm
really
loving that. I'm loving that aspect.
And what are there's another thing that we take, it's called Biomedic. What does the Biomedic do for us?
Well, it's a pre and probiotic. So that's a wonderful, I mean, in today's world, as we talked about in the last episode about glyphosate and Roundup being used, that's one of the things, it's one of the few probiotics out there that has actually had studies done where it's showing that it's helping to remove that toxicity from the gut, from the digestive tract.
Wonderful.
Probiotic really can help you build your good bacteria, because sometimes when we're not eating a good diet and we're stressed and life gets away from us, the bad bacteria can have a party, and it goes to work in there, and it can create that bloat, that belly bloat, and that discomfort or diarrhea or constipation. I'm always talking poop in my gut health class, so it's a hot topic for me.
It's important because everybody does it. So,
well, they should be. They should be at least once, if not twice a day. So,
yeah.
Don't get me going
what I loved also about this cleanse was I take a lot of doTERRA supplements, and I was able to continue taking my doTERRA supplements, and I didn't have anything. I talked with somebody beforehand that knows about a little bit more about them, and they were like, yeah, no, that's not going to have any adverse reaction with what you're already taking. So it's nice to have somebody who you can ask those questions with. And what I loved about you was as you were telling me about it, you said, well, there's some things that you can do to prepare yourself for the cleanse. So let's talk about some of the things that I did prepare myself for. And I want to share with everybody that it was a challenge for me, but I gave up coffee. And 10 days, like a week before I gave up coffee, 10 days in, I didn't have coffee. And I really missed that morning ritual, having that morning coffee. So I reached out to Janet, and she hooked me up with this product that is like herbal roots and chicory root and things like that. Tocino, I think it's called. And and so I started doing that in the morning just to like have that warmness, and it helped me. It really helped me to feel like I was having that ritual, because in that ritual, there were other things that I was missing because I didn't have that warm cup of coffee that I would do, like put on meditation music, or remember to, walk into my office and use my tuning fork instead of just going right out to the garden and start weeding and, start getting into my day. And then of course, things just kind of compound from there. So it was really nice for me to have that kind of little bit of a setback to do that. So that was just one of the things. But what else do people need to do to get ready for preparing for a cleanse?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things when you were talking about coffee, the amino acids, I don't know about for you, but when I take them on an empty stomach in the morning, I get this burst of energy. Like I don't need caffeine. I don't need coffee. I don't need tea. I don't need anything. It just gives me that fuel. So that is one of the side effects that I've experienced that I'm loving. Yeah, and I've always awakened like the Energizer Bunny. I've been accused of that, but yeah, but this is like that extra dose that's like incredible. I just love it. But yeah, yeah, and I always tell people that if you are a 2 or a 3 cup a day, that like 10 days before you're going to begin the reset, because it's going to take about that long to get the products, you want to begin to wean back to 2, then to 1, then to maybe half a cup, like half decaf, half regular, and just really pace yourself, because we don't want anybody to suffer the consequences of going cold turkey on anything.
Mhm.
If you are imbibing in alcohol and you're having a bottle of wine a night, which some of my friends have admitted to, you want to decrease that to half a bottle a night, and then down to maybe 1 glass a night. And then by the time you get to the cleanse, let's delete or eliminate that for a while, give it a break
Yeah.
for a while, because that constant toxicity in the body is creating inflammation. It's too much. The other thing that I tell people is begin to, like, if you are eating animal products, so if you're having chicken and fish and meat, decrease that to the size of the palm of your hand. Make that your side dish. Begin to focus on bringing plant foods and look at the rainbow of color, get away from beige foods. I say beige foods, the more color and the more life there is in your food, the more life that's going to be in you. So getting away from bland beige foods is really important. And gluten is always a hot topic. So
Yeah.
for some, like celiac, you definitely need to avoid gluten, and even cross-contamination with gluten, which I'm not celiac, but I do get bothered by gluten. And gluten for some people, especially when they are sick, when they're trying to heal from something, gluten can stir up problems. Sometimes it's not necessarily the gluten, but it can be the overly refined flours that we have in the United States. So if you are eating breads or making your own bread with non-organic, white processed flour, you are getting a hefty dose of the Roundup, the glyphosate. You are getting, a lot of toxicity. You're going to get blood sugar spikes because it doesn't have the whole germ. It doesn't have the wholeness of the grain. So I always tell people that, if you're wondering if it's a gluten issue or if it's the overly refined flour issue, then try something like an Ezekiel bread, which is made with seeds. They actually don't even, I don't even think they refine their flour. They're using the whole grain in their breads.
And it's found in the freezer section of the grocery store. So people, if you're going to go look for Ezekiel bread, we keep it in our freezer. They have English muffins, like a cinnamon raisin English muffin. So it takes a little bit to get used to, but you have to eat something 3 or 4 times before you develop the taste buds for it. You can't just try something once and go, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, a lot of people are, they love their breads. I've actually moved away from it because when you talk about gluten-free, the market got inundated with gluten-free products. And when you read what's on the label of gluten-free, it's overly refined processed sugars and overly refined processed non-gluten flours. And they've got guar gum and what was the other one that's in there that's
like erythritol? That's another one that I see on.
Oh yeah, all the tols. Yeah, the erythritol, the xylitol, which actually those aren't necessarily too bad, but in too much quantity, they can really hurt the gut. But yeah, they just have too much junk in them for me. So I'm a purist. So that's why, like, there's a product that I buy through Amazon or at the health food store called Anthony's gluten-free organic oat flour. That is my primary flour when I bake my plant-based cookies, when I'm doing any kind of a banana bread or anything like that. I use my oat flour and I absolutely love it. It doesn't have a funky taste. Sometimes I will use chickpea flour, which is a really nice way to bread something. Like if you're going to bread your tofu or bread your vegetables and put them in the air fryer or something, mixing them with some herbs. So yeah, it's moving away from, again, the overly processed, getting gluten out of your life, which is generally wheat and rye. And you wouldn't believe all the things gluten is in, Worcestershire sauce, and you know, all
crazy. You stuff you wouldn't even think it would be in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the other thing I want to move on to is how we, 30 days is a long days, is a lot to do a cleanse for. And people, when I say I'm doing a 30-day cleanse, they're like, wow, that's way too long to cleanse. Because they're thinking of like a traditional cleanse, which is what we talked about, a water cleanse or a juice cleanse. Right. That's not what this is. This is more of a reset for your body. I know as an energy healer, it takes 21 days for you to for your cells to regenerate and to become like a new frequency in your body. So in your brain, you have pathways, and habits are the pathways that have been worked day through day through day through. So in order to change the pathway, to think new thoughts about something, you have to create a new habit, and you have to do something differently. So when you do it differently one time, you've created the pathway, but now you need to reinforce the pathway. So you need to continue to do it. So that's what this reset did for me. It's more of a reset into my lifestyle as I'm going into my aging years. And I love that about it. And I love that you made it super easy for me when I was anxious about, Janet, what the heck am I going to make and how am I going to make it? And I don't understand. And she was like, all right, Deb, we got this. And Janet she's in the process of writing a cookbook, and it's a whole food plant-based cookbook. She doesn't cook with oils. We'll have an episode where we do a cooking show. I think that's going to be the next evolution of this. But what I want to say is she's taught me how to keep glass dishes on hand and put things in glass containers in the freezer. If I have to do aluminum, to line it with parchment paper, because aluminum in the body at excess amounts is not healthy for the body either. So yes, we have all of these elements in us. We have magnesium, we have iron, we have aluminum. But the problem is, as a society, we've become a disposable society, and we use aluminum way too much to wrap things in or cook things in or to store things in. And it's raising havoc with our systems.
Yeah, it's actually, there are some studies that are showing that it is causing some dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's being linked to some of the different neuro diseases that are coming up. And, we're having a bit of an epidemic with that. So, I mean, I will use tinfoil, but I always use the parchment paper first. And, if I'm going to throw it on the grill or in the oven or something like that, it's great. But yeah, planning ahead is key. I mean, as Debbie learned, and as I've been going through this detox lifestyle process, spending a couple hours each week, prepping some really wonderful, plant-based meals, and then dividing them up and freezing them is like, last night I had a piece of plant loaf from the freezer and put it over some wonderful garden vegetables that I brought in, and over a bed of greens, and quickly whipped up a little sauce, and oh my gosh, it was delicious. I felt like I had a gourmet dinner, and it was like done like that. So
yeah, and not for nothing, I've been making Janet's recipes, and I, like, my husband and I I'm busy working in my business, he's busy doing things, and we'll come together at 5:00. He's like, what's for dinner? And so now we don't have that issue, because I have these meals prepped in the freezer, and he'll go ahead and eat them. He loves them. He's like, I'll eat this. You should make this again. So I've done a tempeh chili. I've done a vegan with tofu as the regat for a lasagna. I've done a plant loaf. I've done for like a meatloaf. I've also done
shepherd's pie. Can't forget that one.
We've done, with the lentils. So we got some great recipes. We can help you with redoing your pantry. We can help you with getting going on your cleanse. If this is something that you're interested in, I want to invite my listeners to reach out to us. You can find us on social media. We're both out there. Janet Verney, Verney, Debbie Sodergren, Sodergren, if you're listening. We want women need to stand up and save this world. A lot of things have been happening that we're not happy with, and a lot of us are exhausted. And how the heck are we going to save the world? Well, we start with ourselves first. And it's really important to get yourself healthy. Don't plan on Western medicine saving your ass. It's not how it works. Only you can save you. Whether you're suffering with depression, whether you're suffering with emotional things, whether you're suffering with weight gain, I'm telling you, this lifestyle will address all those issues. And there's science now behind it that backs it up. And that's the piece of it that I love, is you can go out in the New England Journal of Medicine and you can see where they've posted a lot of studies with this, but just by a couple search words. So it's going to take a little digging on your part, but you need to do the work in order to get yourself healthy. So instead of just looking at us and saying, wow, I wish I could do that. I wish I didn't have achy joints. I wish I was thinner. I wish, whatever. Stop wishing and make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right on.
Because we're happy. We go for bike rides. We hang out with our girlfriends and we have a wonderful time. Community is a great place to have laughter and to be with like-minded people, to bounce ideas off from and not be judged. So there's a lot to be said about that. So I want to thank my listeners. I want to thank my guest, Janet Verney, for coming on today, my wonderful, wonderful dear friend, that I'm so happy that we are connected and we found each other at this stage of life. And it's from now till eternity. And I'm so excited about that. So listeners, thank you again for listening. I'm Debbie Sodergren from the Live, Love, Lead podcast, and my guest was Janet Verney. We hope you have a wonderful day today, and we look forward to you reaching out and letting us know that you listened to the podcast today. So have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you loved this episode and all things related to raising your vibration and living your best life, you can connect with me online at debbiesodergren.com. Check out my YouTube channel, Debbie Sodergren, and follow me on Instagram at Debbie Sodergren, Facebook page of Up Vibrations with Debbie Sodergren. I invite you to join me inside my Live, Love, Lead community. The link is on my website. You can always send me your questions or comments or just say hello on social media. And remember, a shift in perception is sometimes all it takes to up your vibration. Until next time.